Ariana, how we doing?
Hi, Tyler. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for calling in. How are things going?
Good, really good. It's severely jet lagged, but after years of traveling internationally, I'm pretty disciplined about making sure I only sleep when I should. But it's been a amazing whirlwind, life changing month to say the least.
2014 is off to a pretty good start for you, huh?
Yeah, it really is, and it's so funny. And the last year and a half has been a true practice. And you work so hard. You have goals, and obviously swimming goals are different. How I work for them and achieve them than what I'm doing now professionally. But really just kind of jumped in, planted a ton of seeds, and waited and hoped and kept working and got discouraged, and then all of a sudden things really started to come into play. So it's been a great start to this year for sure.
I love it. So you're working as the director of health inspiration at LifeWise right now?
Yes. So I started working with LifeWise back in April, and they're an amazing, amazing company, and they make it a priority to help people make healthy living a priority. And so together we teamed up, and we've done a lot of cool things in the city, from fit mobs where we would pick just random parks in the city. We'd hire trainers, and anyone could come out and get a great workout, to doing a lot of internal and external PR, but just really making healthy living and also giving people the tools through one of our best tools is activelynorthwest.com. It's an amazing, hyper-local online lifestyle magazine. It's food, fitness, inspiration. So I've done quite a bit of blogging on there, which is fun. And then, just recipes and parks and hikes and walks and bike trails and, everything that's right in our backyard. So it's helping people make these healthy changes, which I love so much. But it's quite an honor of role, and it's really through that relationship that I got the chance to go to Sochi and have that amazing new experience. So it's been cool.
Tell us more about the website. That's something that kind of just recently launched.
Yeah, so it was launched back in June, and it's in our backyard, which is great. And so I did a series of posts, just kind of through the things that I've learned through my career and things now, but even we have LifeWise ambassadors who are posting, like mommy hikes and, family trails and different recipes. And I think there's, farmer markets crawls and, so all of these different articles that people can go to and, if they're looking for some kind of inspiration. And, I always say whether you're taking big steps or small steps in your health journey, every single step counts, and everyone needs motivation. We have an amazing mom, and her motto is everyone has their own Olympics. And so, whether people are, wanting to just all of a sudden jump in, or whether they're on their way and they're looking for maybe that extra push, it's been a great resource. And there'll be some fun stuff coming up soon. We've been doing a lot of winter sports series on there, obviously, because of the excitement of the Olympics. But I had a chance to sit down with a lot of great Pacific Northwest athletes while I was in Sochi. So stay tuned for some cool articles with them. Sat down with JR, Selski, Apollo Ono, Nick Cunningham, Bob Sletter, Holly Brooks, she's cross country here, Sadie Bjornson, also cross country. So, these amazing athletes that we can draw inspiration, but also, they're enjoying the same Pacific Northwest sights and sounds that we do. So, kind of hearing and seeing how they're doing it is fun.
So before we talk to you about your recent trip, tell us how it all started about your Olympic journey.
Yes. Well, it was 18 years in the making, to say the least.
Okay.
There was really one of those things where I missed making the Olympic team in 2008 and was third by 8/100 for the second, and really just took that experience and ran with it and learned as much as I could. I firmly believe that failure makes you better. Failure is the foundation for success. You need those things that make you take a hard look in the mirror and say, do I like what I do and what I'm doing? Am I proud of who I am? Is this the direction I want to go? And that experience really allowed me to make some changes in my career. And so then 2009, I broke the world record and was world champion that year. 2010 was an amazing, I was world champion that year also. And in 2011, I graduated from college, which was amazing and great. And, the motto in our household was, you're not a swimmer, you're a person who swims, and needed to have that on my resume, and was so proud of, being able to do that while I was still training so intently. And then I always say June 28th, 2012, I touched the wall and became an Olympian. And it was that moment that I didn't realize how powerful it was, because I work with people and I work with kids all the time, and I talk about dreams and I talk about setting goals and, having focused on something for so long and failing at it, by a margin of a second, and then having that dream come true and being able to go to London and have the whole family come, and it was pretty special. And, I had the chance to talk to a lot of athletes, and I walked away from London, I placed fifth, and so it's disappointing that I didn't come home with a medal, but I have amazing friends who, have had that experience. And I was talking to one person while I was in Sochi, and their way of describing it was saying, you focus on something, you imagine it, you dream it, and it's one of those things that you could never, it's better than you could possibly imagine. So I don't know, it's cool. It was an amazing career that I'm so proud of it, and, I had amazing experiences, and it was fun, and got to share it with my sisters, which is also a big highlight.
And I know your sisters are a big part of your life. Can you explain what it was like growing up with such good athletes in that house?
Yeah. I always get the question, were our parents swimmers? And they weren't. We had a boat. They wanted us to be water safe. And, we just kind of jumped into it from there. Emily, older sister's 4 years older. She joined the swim team when we were 9. I was 5. Maddie was 3. And we all just kind of got started with it. And each level that we got to was new and exciting and fun, and had awesome parents who, were just supportive and, did all the right parent things, where their questions after were, did you have fun? Which was really important, because especially as things got stressful and, expectations and pressure come into play, to have just that amazing support system was crucial. So it was cool. We're definitely a competitive family. Board games are definitely...
Those got to be interesting. Who usually wins?
It totally depends. Maddie is definitely like the very thorough, thoughtful one of the family. Like, she being the baby, and Emily and I are just like chatter all day long. She sits and observes, and so I'd like to say that she, is better at board games because she plans more thoughtfully, while Emily and I will just like jump in and like wrestle each other to win. But it's so funny. I think that we need to have some family board games. We're big into puzzles as like our holiday tradition kind of game thing, and I normally bring everyone in. But yeah, we're not like going out. Maddie and I run together, which is fun. But there's no competitive edge in that anymore. If she's running faster, I'm running faster. I'm just like, go ahead. But it's good. It's good. It's an amazing dynamic to grow up in. Be able to share such a common love. And, in 2008, all three of us competed at Olympic trials, which was a dream come true. And 2012, Maddie and I were both there, and she was just my absolute savior as, the nerves come into play. I always say the Olympic trials are a beast. You have to get through them. There's no way to go around them. You have to go through and, collect your tickets to London or your tickets to the Olympics in order to proceed. And they're scary and stressful. That, an entire, for me, 18 year swimming career came down to 131 seconds of whether or not I achieved that dream or not. And, you got to make sure you prepare in the right way, but it's so nerve-wracking once you finally get there.
What's your pregame routine? Are you listening to Beastie Boys to get pumped up, or what does that look like? You more classical?
Yeah, well, I actually listened to country music before, because it put me in like a very just mellow place. And so you look, watching TV, you see Michael Phelps, who has his headphones on up until the very last second, and then you see, someone like Missy Franklin, who's laughing and giggling. And I was somewhere in the middle, and it took me a while. When I tell kids, I say, do trial and error, figure out what works for you, what makes you feel confident. But for me, I usually had like one ear of music in, and I was talking, laughing, joking. But then like right before I was about to go out behind the blocks, it would be like, okay, it's go time. And just kind of would retreat into my own little world. But yeah, everyone has their own thing, and it's so funny to hear everyone's, do you take 5 arm swings and then you touch your toes and do this and that, but everyone has their superstitions. It's funny.
It reminds me of people on the tee box in golf getting there, ready to tee off. So
Yeah.
let's go back to London. Was it just a blur? Were you able to take it in? I always feel like everyone's probably in the mode to compete and then afterwards they really get to soak everything in. Is that kind of how that went down?
Exactly. And, I spoke about this a lot over the last month, but, London, as athletes, we have a job to do, and I got asked so many times, oh my gosh, was, London completely different and scary than anything you'd ever been to? But our World Championships, which we have every year that there's not an Olympics, are very similar in the sense that there's lots of media, lots of international competition. It's just as high pressure and stressful. So in terms of the pool deck, it was very familiar to me, but all of the stuff that comes with it is very amazing. Getting the community behind you and, feeling that love. I know that myself and my family were just feeling the love from our community. It really meant a lot. But yeah, I wasn't able to walk in opening ceremony because I competed day 3, and they requested, it's a lot of time on your legs, and so they requested if you compete the first 4 days that you not participate. And so, that's the thing that people don't really realize is, it's this amazing big event, and there are certain things that you have to forego in order to do your job at the end of the day. So it definitely is a blur. It was amazing because we spent, right after I made the Olympic team, we were in Knoxville, Tennessee for a training camp for 2 weeks, and then we went to Vichy, France for 2 weeks, and then we went to London about a week before the Olympics began. And so, we're quarantined together. Our national team is incredibly close, which I love. So it was fun, and I just enjoyed it. Once I was done competing, we were up in the stands the whole time cheering on teammates, and then you get a little bit of time to relax with the family, but it is a little bit of a whirlwind. And Sochi, I was really able to appreciate all of those moments. I think I got to relive my Olympic experience being on the other side this time around.
Let's talk more about that. What was it like being there? First off, that experience to be able to go represent King 5, that's pretty cool, huh?
It was amazing. It was such an honor. And, I blogged religiously. I've never blogged before. And I kind of committed to just turning my personal cell phone off. I created a new email address. We were all worried about getting hacked. And was just like, you know what? Live in the moment every single day. Have fun. Take it all in. Learn a lot. And I committed to doing that. And it was amazing and exciting, and was part of a great team that allowed me to learn a lot, and just kind of, I don't think live TV, because I've done interviews all the time. Live TV is a different animal, and as someone who, athlete type A, I like to do things right and say things right. It was an amazing test for myself, as in, okay, well, that didn't come out as well as you would have liked, but you have another shot in 20 minutes, so let it go and try again. And so just for, my own personal experiences and growth, that was pretty cool. But for the opening ceremony, we weren't inside, but we were right outside. And so they, during the ceremony, opened up the big doors, and then they ran it out, and then they lit the outside Olympic cauldron. And we were standing literally 10 feet away from it. And it was the most surreal moment of my life. I just remember being there and feeling all the excitement that was around me and watching this flame light up and just feeling everything that you think that you should, but that it's actually real. That, oh my gosh, this feeling of camaraderie and unity and athleticism, and just the Olympic spirit was so vibrant in everything that was around.
What an experience.
It really was, and I even was fortunate to watch the flame go out too. Right now I'm working on kind of like a highlights video to post. But it was mind-blowing how amazing it was and how cool it was to be a part of that. And then realizing, oh my gosh, I competed here. I got to wear my country's flag on my swim cap and, feel that support from back home. And it was very kind of just telling and healing and amazing in so many ways.
I can definitely say you represented Auburn really well. Everyone was